What up, guys? Welcome to the Base Damage Podcast. And this week, due to more complications with trying to organize, trying to get people together and whatnot, turns out, the leading up to the week of Christmas and whatnot was not the best time to try to record this. But either way, so today's just going to be me, just going to be kind of a chill podcast. So probably might not go the whole usual length of time. It really just depends on what I end up talking about and discussing. But yeah, I hope everyone has a super awesome Christmas, or by the time this comes out, I hope that you had a awesome Christmas. True, the week leading up to this as well, we get SAO ordinal scale, so I'm going to be trying to pull some of that, trying to see what all good pulls I can get off of that, which is going to be really interesting. And to anybody else who gets, boxes or cases or whatever, hope y'all, get the pulls that you want. But, yeah, end of the year. This is the last week of 2017. As far as this will also be the last podcast for 2017 as well. This will be coming out the 26th. So yeah, there won't be so I need to look at the calendar later. So for the beginning of the year, I'm going to be trying to change up the format for stuff a little bit. I know I went over, kind of mentioned a little bit about this in the update video from last Thursday. And actually, like, a majority of that kind of has to do with how I do the set discussions. When we actually get people together, and when we get, like, a topic everyone's kind of knowledgeable in, like, discussing and trying to throw our ideas around about stuff and whatnot, it looks like a lot of viewers tend to enjoy that more, as opposed to, like, just the set discussions where it's like, oh, look, Base Damage uploaded a new video. What's it about? Oh, they're going over a new set. What's this set? Oh, I don't care about this set. Whatever the title may be. If that's, Logi, or, maybe back when we did Persona or something of that nature. It seems like people don't really look forward to those as much. Like, maybe still want to hear people's thoughts on stuff, but, like, also posting up, like, if we go over all four colors and it takes, like, us a whole month or something of that nature to go through the entire the entire set, because we used to try to do like one color each week, or what was the one we did for AOT volume 2, we just tried to do a kind of an overall broad discussion on, I think we ended up doing it in like 2 parts, if I remember correctly. This was back in September, if I remember correctly. Yeah. But either way, for that, we shortened it down, but it still seemed to be something people really didn't care for. I say that, like, I could be wrong. People could be completely and totally enjoying those, but I'm also kind of going based off, the like ratios and whatnot. Like, I'll get 1 or 2 likes as far as YouTube's concerned. I don't really care. Like, even if someone dislikes it, I could give a fuck less. It's whatever. But noticing how, like, if we just have a discussion, like, what was the one we did? Where it was, like, me, Cam, Bentley, and Side for Zero, Kevin, he and the rest of them all got in. We were talking about as far as getting new people into the game, getting more people wanting to come to locals and whatnot, and that seemed to be something people liked hearing about, or liked us discussing, because all of a sudden that had more likes than half of my other podcasts or anything of that nature. So I figured I wanted to try to do up something different, and for the set discussions is more going to be like try to wrap it all up into one podcast, and it'll just be something kind of brought up. Like, I'm going to ask whoever's going to be in it to look over the set beforehand and just give their thoughts on it. We might end up still doing, like, separate videos going over each card. Like, have that for, like, Thursday videos or something. I don't know. But outside of that, like, we even had what was it? Timmy had a really cool idea where it was, we get 4 people in on it if it's a new set that's coming out where there is, like, 4 sets or 4 colors. 4 colors or 3 colors or whatever. Try to get that many people on there and have each person only look through that particular color. I thought was going to be kind of funny. Thought that'd be kind of cool to see if we just like kind of throw people all in there who they don't know anything else about any of the other colors, and then just try to like share their knowledge or give their opinion on that color of it or whatever. I don't know. That might be something we do. It might be something we don't do. I don't know. Outside of that, trying to get like a more solidified lineup for the podcast. I'm going to try to make it so it's like every week I try to have close to the same people who are up there. Like obviously I'm on every week, and I know people love to hear Kool-Aid. That's whatever. Lots of sarcasm this week, guys. Anywho, what else is new? What else is going on in the world of Weiss Schwarz? Or what else have I done? I did go over recently, looking over how Bushiroad was going to be doing their Spring Fest and whatnot, where it's going to be team tournaments, where it's, okay, a team of 3 versus a team of 3, and whoever gets best 2 out of 3 amongst those games is the team that advances. Or, they get, I say advances, I don't think it's going to be elimination. Like, I state that like it's going to be an elimination thing, and I don't know if that's how it's going to be. It's probably not. It's probably going to be the whole win-loss ratio as usual. So, that makes me wonder if you end up winning all 3 of your games with each person, if that weighs more heavily in the end. Interesting. I don't know, like, as opposed to the team getting 2 wins and 1 loss amongst all these other teams that may get, undefeated type thing across a couple other teams. If that weighs more heavily, that would be very interesting if that's how they end up doing that. Even if they end up not doing it that way, that's still cool. It's whatever. The next thing would be kind of figuring out if it's going to be like a 3-person thing where I don't think... Well, it makes me wonder if they say like every person has to run a different deck. If you're going to see for a lot of the team composition, for anyone who's serious about this, be like an SAO deck, a TLR deck, and a AOT deck, or some combination thereof. Regardless of how the deck's set up, it makes you wonder if if that's going to be like the usual setup, or if it's going to be more chill. I say more chill because they're not going to be doing the team tournaments for Worlds, as far as if you get a invite to Worlds, or you get basically if you win because Fall Festival is supposed to be that, as far as you get the invites to Nats, and then whoever wins those things go to Worlds or whatever. So as far as, I think that's how they're changing it back up again. That should be cool. But because of that, I think the team tournament thing is mostly going to be for like extra promos, if I read it correctly on the post that Bushiroad put out. If that is how it ends up being, people may try other combinations and stuff. Obviously, you're still going to have the people who are serious about it and want to try to win whatever thing it is, just to to say that they did. But at the same time, it would be a little cooler if you would see interesting matchups, interesting pairings of stuff, as far as across the different sets, and not just see the big 3 or something thereof. I state SAO, TLR, and AOT is kind of the big 3 right now. This is personal opinion. I don't care if you disagree. It's whatever. Because, even though I still see Contai topping, even if I still see... Oh, what was the other one? Idolmaster still tops. Hell, I've seen Contai top more than Idolmaster recently. A lot of it is like SAO and AOT, and usually it's just kind of that third filler. But also because I actually like TLR over some of those other sets. It makes me wonder what else the composition for that's going to be. But either way, some sets have kind of died off. I don't want to say died off. They've just kind of been put on the back burner. And because of such, it makes me hope that those sets, like Contai and whatnot, will get more sets later on. I mean, you know, still kudos to the people who've still been topping with it. Or, I think there was someone who topped with an Abyssal deck a while back, and that was kind of cool. I can't remember if they got like top 3 or if they got like top 8 or something of that nature. Either way, that's still pretty cool. So, probably one moment. Since it's just me talking, I have to keep a drink next to me to be able to keep talking as long as I'm going to be for this. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do for that. And, like, I might try to get some people together as far as trying to figure out composition, as far as, like, trying to figure out what more pairings for that might be. I'm more wanting to go over that than, like, what might be in the Fall Fest, because that just seems more interesting. The whole team thing, even though you're not going to be able to go to Worlds off of winning that, to my understanding, if I end up being wrong about that, blah. My bad, guys. It's just a podcast, I swear. Anyway, it would be cool. It would be interesting to be able to see, like, how serious people get. Or if people are just like, oh, fuck it, we'll just take in, you know, Fairy Tail or Disgaea or something, you know. You're not saying those decks are bad or anything, but as far as also talking about, you know, new sets and whatnot, with Ordinal Scale, I've actually been checking out some of the prices for that, and a lot of that doesn't seem to be too fairly... I say too expensive, obviously if you're going for SPs or whatever, but I'm looking at it from the poor man's point of view, at like double rare and lower. You know, to each their own. If you want to max rarity, foil out your deck, by all means do what you want, but from the poor man's perspective of, am I going to be able to get the double rares that I want? Am I going to be able to get the rares? The rares actually do not look bad in price. I think the highest priced rare was the new counter event. It had a different name, so I actually don't know. It has a different name, I think, than what the Japanese version was, so I don't want to say that name so people don't get confused. But people should know what I mean if you know, they've researched the set. That was like $3-ish, like $2 to $3, something like that, for the counter event. And that looked like it'd be the most expensive rare. As far as I could be wrong, but I didn't see, you know, how like Contai had you know, a while back with fucking $15 uncommons, Winter Moment Akatsuki's and whatnot. I mean, that's not the case now. They're like $8 or $9. Anyway, still, that's like an uncommon for $8 or $9, but it's a, you know, staple 4 of. Anyway, for SAO, obviously one of the bigger ones was the level 0 Suguha double rare. That's going to be one of the bigger ones I know people are wanting, because it doesn't work off of, like, one particular climax. It works off of any climax getting played. Excuse me. And that's kind of awesome. Which, I got to thinking about why that was so expensive, and, I mean, sure, I saw it as a good card when we were going over in the set discussion with Timmy, but I have been in that position before where, you know, playing SAO, and, oh, well, I could drop all this stuff, but I can't brainstorm out enough to be able to refresh so that I can get more options. Like, if you end up brainstorming or whatever, and you got, you know, only a couple cards left in the deck, you might not have good options off of your Zekken Yuki Mother's Rosario combo. So if you can play the Mother's Rosario and have that Suguha, pay the stock, look at, you know, if you only have like 3 or 4 cards on the top of your deck still, look at those, grab something, and then get, you know, refresh your deck. And then have all those new options for your Zekken Yuki effects, which would be really, really cool. So, obviously that's not the only reason, because that whole, just pay one to grab any one card, like, off the top 4, as long as it's, I think it's, I do not remember the effect exactly. I think it was an avatar or net character. It may just be a card. I cannot remember correctly right now. Forgive me. It's also because I'm not in front of a computer right now. But yeah. So, obviously, it's a really good card for that, plus, you know, everything else. But, let's see, what else was there? Oh, obviously, the new level 0 Kirito, which I figured was going to be pricey anyway, because in JP, like, I think the week that it dropped in JP, you, like, if you tried to buy that new level 0 double rare Kirito online, it ended up coming out, if you converted the money from yen to dollars, it was about $25. And the most I've seen for this is about $14 to $15 for ours, which, you know, it's kind of not bad still. I mean, that Suguha was like 18-ish, 17 to 18-ish. You know, the price could change by the time this comes out. But that still does not seem bad to me. Compared to, like, even with re-edit, with, like, the fucking, what was it? The Switch Combo Kirito was like $20 to $25 when it first came out. Kaleidoscope Ilya, when the Prisma Ilya set came out, was anywhere from like $25 to $30. Stuff like that. Admittedly, those being finishers as opposed to level 0s, I realize it's kind of, there's going to be a difference there. But even stuff that ends up being staples becomes more pricey. So, anyway. Even though those are finishers, as opposed to these level 0s that just do some interesting little effects, sure, they may not be priced as much. They may not have the same price tag, but as opposed to the actual finisher, the new, it was called Chain Link, for the new finisher thing that's set up for SAO, which is something interesting I'm going to look into, see how it is, because the prices for those are not bad. Like, right now, the prices for those seem decent. I'm kind of surprised. The level 3 Kirito that does, like, the main effect for this Chain Link thing was, I want to say, about $7 to $8 a piece. And that's fucking phenomenal. Compared to fucking Switch Combo, it's fucking amazing at that price. It could change by the time this comes out, I realize, but as of right now, that's not bad. Considering you have all the different Chain Link options. I guess it's because you have the different options for Chain Link, as opposed to Switch Combo is just these two cards, not anything else. You kind of have to have these two. I mean, admittedly, you have to have the Kirito for it, because the Kirito is the one that chains into the others. You can't actually, because as opposed to Switch Combo being able to get, like, you know, 5 attacks off or whatever, you can still get a lot of attacks off with the Kirito, or as far as the Kirito Chain Link combo, but I think you could still get the same amount. I have to look at the combo again and double check on this. But either way, right now it seems inexpensive. And because of such, I'm willing to check it out. I'm willing to, you know, see how it does, see how it may end up testing out. Also, shoutouts to, I can't remember who it was. They were talking about, someone was asking on one of the Facebook groups about, because SAO got the new standby trigger, in red, it got the standby trigger, and someone was asking about, is there a way to set up a standby trigger deck? Which I may actually have to do this for SAO now. And someone sent them a picture of, or a concept of one. I think it was still in the rough, the works. But it's using the Switch Combo setup with the standby trigger setup, not doing Zek and Yuki. And I'm going, okay, like, obviously I prefer Zek and Yuki for this, but this is still an interesting concept. As far as, like, setting it up for that, maybe even doing the standby trigger thing to set up the Chain Link combo. May even be an interesting setup for that, and I probably will end up at least attempting or trying out something for that, because of how inexpensive the Chain Link stuff looks. And I'm like, okay, what was the other one? The new level, I think it was either a level 3 Xenon or a level 3 Suguha that had a restand effect. I think it was the Xenon. I could be wrong on that, forgive me. Oh, speaking of the combos for that, another one would be cool for is the new level 1 Xenon combo. Obviously, Zek and Yuki's better, but I thought that was still a cool thing to be able to do because it is off of a pants trigger, not a gold bar. God, I hate gold bars. I love them, but I hate them at the same time. Anywho, that's enough ranting about SAO for right now because I realized I was on that for a bit. But yeah, let's see. Outside of that, what other stuff did I need to talk about? Probably 1 second. I had to wet my whistle again. You think I'd be used to talking for long periods of time by now without having to really get a drink, but I guess I have to. So yeah, what else? Oh yeah. I remembered I was going to try to go a little bit more in depth talking about the giveaway tournament. Basically, because from what Cam has been doing on ContainsAnime TCG, what he has been doing, posting up their live streams of their locals on Saturdays. Please check them out. I know I've been like throwing that out there like every podcast or video at this point, and I know he's like, "Thanks, dude." I've been trying to check them out as much as I could. It's cool to be able to see. It's cool to be able to watch that and see a lot of the JP sets because I'm not familiar with a lot of the JP sets as far as actually playing them. Like I've heard, hearsay about certain sets and go, oh, okay, I know which ones to avoid or which ones to invest in if we ever get them. But anywho, as for our give, I kind of want to do something similar to how Cam is doing theirs. As far as I wanted to do a live stream, I wanted to try to see if I can, get a decent webcam or some kind of camera that will be able to have good resolution to be able to try to do our usual giveaway. But the editing, the recording, the entire process has just been a pain in my ass for all of that, for all the other ones. I still had fun doing so as far as doing the tournament, but when it came around to after the tournament was done or, trying to coordinate with people, it just was a real big pain in the ass. And if I can say, whoever shows up for this is whoever shows up for it. We are going to live stream this, and we are going to try to get it all done in like a day. If anybody wants to watch, they can. I believe if I stream it through YouTube, I'll be able to still post it, like as far as like a video on the channel. I think I can. I could be wrong on that. I'm trying to look into that for some other streaming purposes. But yeah, outside of that, it will be. We're gonna be trying to do that maybe the end of January. Try to aim for something to that end of January. Probably be a good idea to do that before Persona 5 comes out. I just realized that we're supposed to be getting Persona 5 in February, so let's see. As far as Persona 5 coming out, I kind of wanted to. I didn't want to try to do like any meta stuff with like Joker, as far as yellow. I probably wanted to try some stuff around green because I like Makoto and Haru, as far as waifu builds or whatever you want to do. Which that stuff still may end up being cool. Or even like Yusuke, because Yusuke looked like he had some interesting combos, if I remember blue correctly. Obviously people wanting that Futaba. Shoutouts to Waifu Wars. I know he was wanting the Futaba and whatnot. Which maybe I can make some money off of him, because he was like, I want all of your English SPs, I don't care which they are. So if I end up getting any of those, I might be able to make some money off of that immediately. I don't know. I'll try not to kill your wallet too much, Benley. I promise. But yeah, like obviously I know yellow is supposed to be a really, really good color for Persona 5 when that comes out. And that'll be interesting to see the setups people do, because I've seen a couple combinations. One of the more, I guess you could say, prominent ones that I saw was yellow-red. Like, that was like when it first came out, though. So it could be something completely different by this point in JP, because I really haven't kept track of a lot of the JP builds past that. So I need to look into that and see what the color combinations for those might end up being, and try to see what all could be done for that. Because I really don't know, outside of that level 3 Joker, because that thing's supposed to be bananas. Outside of that, I really do not know what else is going to be expensive. I think the level 3 Futaba was still good. I don't remember any of the effects. I remember the finisher effect off the Joker level 3, and that was it. So, one second. There we go. We're good. Oh, let's see. Sweet tea is delicious. If anybody doesn't like it, sorry for you. What else? Other stuff as far as the beginning of the year, I'm gonna be working with OBS and trying to get a lot of stuff straight for that. Mostly because that is one of the things they're going to be trying to do for streaming, is using OBS for streaming purposes, or at least attempt to. And I know this isn't Weiss related, but one of the things I attempted to stream a while back, even though it didn't really work out too well, was mostly because I couldn't see the chat. I couldn't see what people were saying. Was going through Pokemon Fire Red for Moemon. It was a mod on it where it was all the little different chibi girls and whatnot for them, for each of the Pokemon. But see, I'm using that kind of as an experiment too, because I kind of want to be able to do stuff like that, because I like the emulator GBA games and whatnot, and seeing the mods for that kind of stuff is fucking awesome. But anyway, let's see. I don't know what type of camera would be best for streaming either for the giveaway. So I'm kind of like ranting at this point and just kind of throwing whatever other thoughts are going to be going on for that. Oh, true. Okay. Worlds is coming up because we know our buddy Waifu Wars, Bentley, is going to be going to it. He won the Jacksonville Regionals back in Springfest of 2017. And because there wasn't a Jacksonville Regionals for Fall Fest, it was Georgia for that one. We know he's going to be going, and I'm going to be trying to message him like every possibility that he has Wi-Fi, because I want to be able to try to keep everybody updated on how that's going. I want to know how that's going for him, because we are hoping the best for him on that. I hope he just goes in there and wrecks, and I know what he's running, but I told him I would not say what he is taking. However, what he is taking, I'm curious as to who else is. So, not trying to give away too much for that, but it will be interesting to see what all gets brought to Worlds. And I'm hoping that he can kind of give us a play-by-play as much as possible. Because for stuff like that, you can't really take pictures or video, to my understanding. Like, there was some tournament, this is for Yu-Gi-Oh!, like years ago, that I went to, and I tried to record a match with, for one of my buddies, who was playing against another really top-ranked player. As far as, like, this other dude had won regionals and nationals and whatnot. Fuck, what was his name? Oh, Patrick Hoban. I know people had some issues about him a while back, and I ranted about that too, but anyway, my buddy was playing Patrick Hoban, and I wanted to record the match as far as, because I had just finished up my match, and one of our other buddies came over to me and was like, dude, Paul's playing Patrick Hoban. And I'm like, what the fuck? I quickly shook my opponent's hand like, thank you, I know you already won, but you can go ahead and turn that in, bye! And I tried to run over there quickly as possible to try to record it, but then one of the officials came over and was like, dude, I'm not going to try to confiscate anything, I promise, but you can't be recording in here. We have the rights for media in here. Sorry, I don't want to start anything. Not trying to start conflict, but you can't record in here. I apologize. Please turn off your device. As far as turn off the... it was a PS Vita I was trying to use to record. And I complied. I was like, oh, shit. Sorry, dude. I didn't know. Gotcha. Turned it off. And, just... I wish I could have kept the recording, but just so that nobody would have a problem, I went ahead and showed him, look, deleting it, just so we're cool. And he's like, yeah, dude, we're cool. No problem. So I realized for some big events, like, they didn't seem to have a problem with, like, taking pictures at the end of everything for regionals, but for Atlanta. But I know they weren't, like, allowing people to go over to the bigger matches and record them. Granted, I think Patrick Hoban was also sponsored by ARG at one point. I could be wrong on that. So they probably didn't want video evidence of him getting, if he lost. So, I don't know. Regardless, it was still really cool. Like, I actually didn't get any lip about it from Hoban. But either way. So because of having been through stuff like that before, I don't know if they'll allow Bentley to really take pictures or record anything while he's in the middle of all of it. In fact, I don't think they're allowed to have their phones like on while they're doing a lot of that stuff anyway, in case somebody gives away information. Because, actually, I don't know if they do this for Weiss, but I wonder if they stream any of it. I think that'd be cool. Excuse me. I think that would be cool if they actually did end up streaming that type of stuff and type of like feature matches. Hell, they do that for Yu-Gi-Oh! And MTG a lot for like their bigger tournaments. They'll do feature matches, and people can watch those. They obviously, if they get down to finals or something, sure. That'd be really cool if they did that. And oh man, I would be hoping for that so much. Honestly, I would try to host that, or try to like host that stream if they were like showing, you know, our buddy Waifu Wars playing or whatever, and being able to, you know, see if he could, you know, potentially win. Because boy, we are hoping so much that he can, you know, even get far. As long as, you know, he can go as far as he can, that's all I ask. But I know we're like, bro, you better not scrub out or I'm gonna kick your ass. No, I'm just kidding, dude. I ain't gonna kick your ass. But anyway, that would be cool, and I'll try to, you know, keep that as updated as possible. Let's see. Also, for one of the things that also seemed kind of interesting, because we haven't done this in a while, is doing any sort of interviews for people who have won regionals or topped in regionals. We haven't done one of those in a long while, so I'm going to try to see if I can get some of that set up. Which, actually, speaking of worlds, if Waifu Wars does end up winning it, I already have, I already confirmed with him that I'm doing the interview for that. So you will get to know as soon as he does. I'm gonna hit him up as soon as he gets home and be like, "Get on Skype right now. We are interviewing right now." That'll be so cool. I really hope he's able to do something though. If nothing else, I don't even care. Even if he does not win, I want to get him in to be able to, you know, give his experience for Worlds, because I don't think he's ever been to Worlds before. I could be wrong, but I think he said he hasn't ever been before. Plus, it's being hosted in Japan, which is going to be really cool. So, one second. Sorry, just getting more drink. Yeah, no. My throat's really dry today. I don't know why. Anywho, outside of that, really don't have too terribly much else going on. What else was it? Even other sets. We don't have any other sets coming out in January. We just have Persona for February. That's it. So hopefully, here's hoping, Bushiroad is able to get, you know, something together for English soon. Maybe, you know, maybe at the beginning of the year they'll announce stuff, which would be really cool to get to see stuff. Sure, they're going to give us Bang Dream at some point. It's just a matter of when. As far as like the new Bang Dream stuff. So, here's hoping anyway. Oh yeah, no, this is pertaining to JP, but fucking hell, I saw there was a new SP. I think it was from Bang Dream. I think it's Yukina. I could be wrong. Apparently that thing was going for a decent amount for a bit. Apparently it was expensive. I don't know what the whole story behind that is. I need to look this thing up. So, yeah. This thing might be a monster and I not realize it, but it's the SP version is, you know, some people are like, oh yeah, you want to buy a playset of this, right? Apparently it's expensive. I don't know. So, I don't know. I have to check that out. I have to see that and see what all the hype for that is. I wanted to try also for like the channel, trying to, obviously, like I said, trying to get more interviews for stuff, trying to get more people's opinions on stuff, and trying to get more discussions going as far as not just having like a set discussion every month and it just take up the entire fucking month. Because one of the things I'm actually going to do is, unless we're, like, the topic is predetermined, which, you know, I'm still going to have topics for people to talk about, I'm going to try to ask every single person to have a topic or have something they want to discuss. It could be as simple as, a situation that occurred, or an opinion they have, or something of that nature. Just something to bring to the discussion table, or the discussion call at that point. Something to bring to the Skype call. Regardless of whether we get to it or not in that podcast, I want to be able to have everyone have some kind of input. And that's where I hope that a lot of that better content comes from. I'm hoping that's where I can get better videos that people would like to enjoy. I'm not getting paid for any of this stuff. I know I've iterated that a bunch of times before, but I'm the channel is not monetized. I am simply doing this for fun. And I realize that triggers people, but that's whatever. But I do want to try to make better videos as far as better discussions and topics for people. Anyway, enough going over that. I probably won't make this too terribly much longer as far as this recording, but for a majority of 2018, I'm really going to be trying to push for a lot of new topics, push for new content and whatnot. Let's see. Oh yeah, we're about to be seller level 4 on TCG Player, so I'll be able to post up a fuck ton of stuff. Even so far as... Sorry, just random note there. Back to the podcast thing. I bounce around everywhere. I'm sorry. I can't keep stuff straight. Even to the point of branching out. I primarily want to talk about Weiss, but if someone comes in one day and is like, hey, did you hear about that MTG regionals where someone did such and such? Oh, absolutely. I'll more than be willing to talk about that kind of stuff. It'd be fucking great. I would very much enjoy that. And, I don't care if it's MTG, if it's... I hate to say Yu-Gi-Oh, but I really don't care for Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. But, I don't know. I'm going to primarily keep it as a Weiss thing, but I do not mind branching out and trying to explore other topics, other card games, other things. Hell, what was the one podcast I did the other week where it was talking about different anime? Fucking shit. Weiss Schwarz is all about anime. Sure, some video games here and there, but primarily anime. So, hell, I might even try to do something of that every season and try to go over, oh, well, there was this new anime come out this season. It was pretty cool. It was kind of whatever. Might even try, discussions on that, because that can all relate going into Weiss Schwarz stuff. Because if it's, oh, well, this is interesting enough, we might end up getting a set for this. I don't know. Excuse me. Might be something interesting to take a look at. So, anyway. Outside of that, I don't really have any other major topics to discuss. But there are going to be a lot of changes for 2018. There's obviously new year. Got to try to do something new. Try to go a little bit back to our roots as far as discussions go. But at the same time, not have, not to be as disorderly. Because it was kind of a clusterfuck at the beginning. I'm not going to lie. It really was. But at the same time, it was something people enjoyed. So, by all means. With that, I'd like to thank everybody for listening for today. Gonna cut it short today. But it was my fault because of scheduling conflicts with everybody as far as for Christmas and whatnot and the holiday season. Hopefully next week, which will be the new year, will be a better organized one, and we'll try to get more people in on that. I got a buddy, his name's Jason, which I've known him the entire time that I've been doing the podcast and whatnot, but I've never had him on a podcast before, which is crazy because he actually does know a lot of stuff about Weiss and other card games and whatnot. He's a very knowledgeable person. So I'm going to be trying to get him on here more at some point because he knows what he's talking about for the most part. Or at least as far as a lot of card games and probabilities and ratios and whatnot, he's good for that. Anyway, sorry, went back to talking about that. Thank y'all very much for watching. It is greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you want, and if not, hell, thanks for just listening to me as soloing and discussing various stuff and ranting about stuff for a whole 40 minutes here. And if you come back and listen, it'd be greatly appreciated. We'll see y'all on the flip side. Peace out for now.